There are moments in life that split everything into before and after. Before that Sunday dinner and after. Before I saw my wife's eyes fill with tears she refused to let fall, and after. I have been married to Margaret for 39 years. 39 years of early mornings, late nights, sacrifices no one ever saw, and a love so quiet and steady that most people wouldn't even recognize it as love anymore. She was never the loudest woman in the room. She never demanded attention or praise. She simply showed up every single day for everyone she loved. For our son Daniel, for our grandchildren, for me. Margaret raised Daniel with patience and grace. She worked 2 jobs while I was building my business so that Daniel could have the childhood we dreamed of giving him. Piano lessons, school trips, birthday parties she stayed up all night preparing for. She never once complained. Not once. So when Daniel brought home Serena, sharp, ambitious, beautiful Serena, we welcomed her with open arms. I cooked, Margaret baked her famous walnut cake. We sat at that table like a real family, and I thought, we are going to be okay. But Serena had a way of looking at Margaret that I should have noticed sooner. A look that said, "You are beneath me." She never said it outright, not at first. It came in small things. The way she'd redirect Margaret's advice mid-sentence. The way she'd smile at her suggestions like a teacher humoring a slow student. The way she'd glance at her manicured nails whenever Margaret spoke about cooking or housekeeping, as though domesticity was a disease she was proud not to have caught. I told myself I was reading too much into it. Margaret told me the same thing. She's just confident, love. Young women are different now. Don't make it into something it isn't. That was Margaret, always making excuses for the people who should have been making space for her. But what I didn't know that Sunday was that Serena had decided to stop hiding what she really thought, and she chose to do it in front of everyone. It was meant to be a simple family dinner. Daniel and Serena had just moved into the house, our house, the one Margaret and I had co-signed the mortgage on 18 months earlier when they said they needed a fresh start. We had done it without hesitation, because that is what family does. Serena had redecorated every room. Gone were the warm, earthy tones Margaret had suggested. Everything was now cold white and steel gray. A showroom, not a home. But we said nothing. It was their space now. We respected that. Margaret had spent the entire morning preparing. She brought her lamb stew, the one Daniel had requested every birthday of his life, along with fresh bread and a fruit tart she had been up since 6 o'clock making. She walked through their front door carrying it all with those quiet, careful hands of hers, smiling like she always does. Serena looked at the containers and said, almost to herself, but loud enough for everyone, "Oh, you brought food? I assumed you'd be more comfortable doing the cleaning while I handle the cooking." The room went still. Daniel looked at his plate, the grandchildren stopped moving, and my wife, my Margaret, just stood there holding that pot of lamb stew with both hands, her smile slowly dissolving like something fragile dropped in warm water. She laughed it off, a soft, nervous laugh, but I saw her hands tighten around that pot. I saw the way she turned slightly so no one would see her face for a moment, and in that moment, something shifted inside me. Not loudly, not dramatically, it was quiet, the way the most important decisions always are. A door closing somewhere deep in my chest, a line crossed that could never be uncrossed. Later that night, I held Margaret while she cried. She tried to stop herself. She apologized for crying. Apologized as though her pain was an inconvenience. "I'm being silly," she whispered. "She's just stressed. She didn't mean it." I didn't say anything. I just held her tighter, and the next morning, I made a phone call. I called our mortgage advisor on Monday. I didn't make threats, I didn't send messages, I didn't post anything publicly or create a scene. That is not who I am. I simply reviewed what was legally and financially within my rights, and I acted accordingly. Daniel and Serena's mortgage arrangement had a cosigner structure that gave me specific rights in the event of a relationship breakdown between parties. Our financial agreement also included a personal loan component, repayable on request, that I had never once mentioned or pressed because I never imagined I would need to. I mentioned it now. Within 2 weeks, they received formal notice. The loan repayment was being called in. My co-signing status was being formally reviewed and withdrawn, pending refinancing. Without my backing, their mortgage terms changed considerably. Their monthly payments increased. Their cushion, the comfortable financial safety net Margaret and I had quietly been providing, was gone. I did not do this to destroy them. I did it because some lessons cannot be learned through words. Serena called me once. Her voice was different, stripped of its usual polish. "I don't understand why you're doing this," she said. "I think you do." And I ended the call. Daniel came to the house 2 weeks later. He sat at our kitchen table, the same table where his mother had packed his school lunches for 12 years, and he cried. Real tears, the kind that come from finally understanding something you should have seen sooner. He apologized, not just for Serena, for his silence that Sunday, for looking at his plate when he should have stood up. Margaret forgave him. Of course she did. She is Margaret. I told him the financial decisions would remain as they were until things changed, truly changed, in how his mother was treated. Not performed respect, real respect. Things are different now. Slowly, quietly, they are different. But here is what I want you to understand, if you have watched this far. The women in our lives who do the quiet work, who bake the cakes, carry the pots, stay up late and rise up early, who love without asking to be applauded, they are not the cleaners, they are not the help, they are the foundation. And when you forget that, eventually the walls come down. Margaret still makes her walnut cake on Sundays, and now everyone at that table knows exactly who they are sitting with. If this story moved you, share it with someone who deserves to hear it. And remember, dignity is not loud, but it is always worth protecting.